Hi everyone and welcome to Season 7, Episode 1 of From Hope to Glory at Truro City with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, those that don't know, we're going to be doing this series slightly different from now on. Rather than doing sort of 6, 7, 8 episodes per season, we're going to be dividing the season into two and doing two catch-up episodes. This one is going to be looking at the first half of Season 7 as we go into League 1 of the English Football League system for the first time. So right the way up until the end of December we're going to be reviewing, and we'll also be playing a game against Doncaster Rovers as well, so stick around for that. So just as I've pressed record now, I'm not really sure exactly how long this video is going to be or what form it's going to take exactly. All I know is that we're going to condense this series down into a bit more manageable bite-sized pieces in terms of not having too many episodes for people to get through. So this particular episode is going to be dealing with the first half of Season 7, first time in League 1, and you can see immediately that we're doing pretty well, to be honest, in 9th, and I will let you know exactly how we got to that point in a few seconds from now. But first off, if you're new to the channel, then say hi in the comments below, introduce yourself, let me know something about yourselves. If you're new or not, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. All the links are in the description below to my Twitter and my Discord. You can support me on Patreon, all sorts of the links are down there. And maybe even think about clicking a like on this particular episode for me. That'll help me get seen by lots more people, helps me to continue to grow the channel. So thank you for doing all of that. And let's get properly into Truro City Season 7 and see how we've been getting on. And the first thing we're going to do is check out how the summer transfer window went. So the first thing that we're going to talk about are the three released players. We released a couple of central midfielders, Silla and Early. Both reached the end of what I thought they could bring to us. And similarly with Andrew Neil, to be honest. He was a fantastic striker, was with us right the way from the very, very beginning of the series in Tier 7 of English football and helped us to get right the way up to Tier 3. But has basically now served his purpose, served his time. And I don't think he's going to be able to contribute for us much more. So I decided to, at the end of his contract, just let him go off on a free and find pastures new. So those were the three that left the club. If we go to all the transfers, you can see that we let a few more players go, but mostly young players that you had never really seen, because, to be honest, all the way through this series so far, the youth intakes have been absolutely atrociously awful. The only other player you'll know is Stephen Duke Mckenna. He's just currently out on loan just because he wasn't getting first team football. Could still do a job for us if we needed him to, but just at the moment he's out on loan. And where did I send him on loan to? I can't remember now. Oh yeah, Barrow. There you go. These things pass me by. Anyway, so those were the outs from the club. Into the club, we brought 4 players in, all on free transfers or loans, because that has helped us to change up our financial position a little bit as well, which has been quite positive for this particular season. So we brought in Ed Mcjanet, who we know very well from this series. He has been on loan at the club for the last couple of seasons and has performed very, very well for us when he has been. Especially in that first season for us on loan in the Vanarama National League, but 17 goals last season in 34 appearances, excuse me, meant that it was worth bringing him in once his contract has expired and we could get him in for free. So we've done that. 6 goals in 20 matches. He's no longer a first team total regular, but he's a rotating option and he's doing perfectly well at it. The next one that I want to show you is this guy, Joe Smith Ferguson, young striker, 21 years old. What we needed with Andrew Neil gone from the club, we needed a 4th striker, and actually I've brought a 5th one in just to give us more options. We've had the Fab 4 strikers for the last couple of seasons, if you've been watching the series. And Joe Smith Ferguson, young player, hasn't had a chance to play yet really, but he's got some good stuff about him in terms of his attributes and can do a job for us. us, absolutely. But he's being kept out of the team, but only just about, and he is on the verge of making a debut for us. Not today, probably, but he's there or thereabouts. So he came into the club. The midfielder that we bought in to replace Silla and Early, because Early didn't really play a lot for us in the last season or so, we didn't need to bring in two, was this guy, Mohammed Sanger. If we go into his career stats, you can see he played for Newcastle United. If you recognise the name, that's where you'll remember him from potentially. And I've been a little bit disappointed by him so far. He's played 10 times, 1 goal, 1 assist. Hasn't quite come in and used the sort of the passing that I would hope he would to really keep us on the sort of front foot through our midfield. And maybe that's something to do with the poor vision that he's got, maybe. But yeah, a little bit disappointing so far, but there's always room for these things to turn round. But the fourth person that we brought in the summer has been an absolute superstar for us. And from Peterborough, we bought in Michael Mellon. And he is a striker, and he is one of our 2 main strikers, along with Hull. If you remember Hull from the last couple of seasons, those 2 have been banging in the goals. And Michael Mellon, 24 goals in 22 starts and 9 substitute appearances, and 11 assists as well, which has been fantastic. And he has been absolutely brilliant for us so far. And that is why we're sitting up in mid-table, really, because we've got somebody like him scoring the goals. In theory, this particular squad that we've got now is okay, but it's nothing more than okay for this particular level, but they are batting well above their average. If we go and have a look into the table itself, you'll see that we do sit in 9th, and if we go to the season review, preview should I say, you can see that we were supposed to be right the way at the bottom, 24th on 600 to 1 compared to 200 to 1 and then 50 to 1, the next 2 teams above us. So we were really firm favourites to go back down again, and so far we have absolutely defied the odds, and we sit in 9th position. We've got 10 wins, 10 draws, 7 losses. It's much less consistent than it has been over the last couple of seasons in the lower divisions, but we're still doing magnificently well. So let's just dip into the recent results, or the results really, through the first half of the season. You can see the friendly matches were a bit of a mixed bag, but got us prepared for the season quite well. But then it started off quite poorly, as we kind of expected it would in the first couple of months of the season in a brand new league, in a brand new division. And so right the way through August and September, we lost a bag load of games. We won a couple here and there, but it wasn't particularly good. And then October came round and things began to turn quite well. For that second half of October, we didn't lose. 3 draws in a row, just steadied the ship a little bit and got us back into a potential mentality of being able to move forward. And then we hit Bristol Rovers and beat them 6-2. And from that point onwards, really, haven't really looked back, and we've been playing pretty well ever since. Now, lots of draws are still in there and the occasional loss. This is still a very difficult division for us to compete in. But overall, I would say since that 6-2, we have done pretty well for ourselves, really. A good run of form. And there is one particular result that I want to bring your attention to for this particular save. And it's this one against Sunderland. We came up against Sunderland in the first round proper of the FA Cup in like season 1 or 2. I can't remember which one it was. And they absolutely whooped us 3-0 and destroyed our hopes of trying to get into the further stages of the FA Cup in an early season. And at that point, I vowed that I would absolutely do my very best to get my own back on them. And this time round, we managed to do it. We came up against them away from home in the league, in League One, and we beat them 5-0. And it was the 2 goal scorers, our 2 main goal scorers, Aaron Hull, who haven't checked out, 15 goals in 22 games for us so far this season, doing fantastically well. He's been brilliant. But he and also... there it is. Michael Mellon was the other one who got 4 goals in that game, destroyed Sunderland and made me very, very happy, to be honest. So that was a fantastic turnaround, an ability to get some semblance of revenge on Sunderland, and one day we are going to finish higher than them in the league as well. This season, I don't know about that. We'll have to wait and see. But at some stage, that is one of my mini goals. So you can see the results started off a little bit weakly, but we picked up a few draws, settled the ship, and then went on a bit of a better run. And in December, we haven't lost a game so far until now, when we come to an episode and I get to play the last game of December against Doncaster, and it's got loss written all over it, hasn't it? But let's be positive. We're in a good run of form, and let's see how we can get on. So as you would expect, really, having had the last couple of seasons that we have in terms of getting promoted a couple of times and looking really great, nothing much in this first half of the season has changed in terms of the style of play that we've got. We're in our 4-4-2, we're playing our wide custom wing play, and it's working very well for us. We've changed a couple of the roles just to suit the players a little bit, that we've currently got a little bit better. We have had some poor performances though. Rossiter continues to be really very, very poor for somebody that I thought was really going to help us secure our central midfield area. So he's out of the side at the moment. Has played 17 matches, but 6.55 average rating is not good enough. Been very disappointed with him. So we've had a reshape in midfield recently because of that. But other than that, everybody's playing their part and doing pretty well, really. You can see that Duke Mckenna, who's on loan still at Barrow, has now got injured for the next 4 to 7 weeks. So that loan spell's not really working out for him as well as he or they would like, I'm sure. But that's just one of those things, unfortunately, that happens. But yeah, overall, I'm so happy with how it's going. And today we get Doncaster. Let's just go and check in and see where they are in the league. And they are currently, where are they? They are bottom of the table. That's why I couldn't find them, because the bottom position wasn't quite in picture, and they are sitting bottom of the table. So this could be a good opportunity for us to get some goals, or an embarrassing opportunity to lose on an episode when my run of form has been very good. Either way, let's find out together. So we have Roberts in goal, Fink at right back, Devine at left back, Bowery and Whitmore in central defence, Williams and Walker in central midfield, Wright Phillips on the right, D'Souza on the left, and Mellon and Hull up top, and a bench of Rogers, Dunlan, Bucock, Sanger, Knowles, Salam and Mcjanet. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So in terms of team talk, I've calmly suggested to them we've been on a really good run of form recently, so get out there again and continue to impress me and those that are watching, and let's see how we get on. We're at home, the crowds are up, we're doing much better in terms of the average attendance, which is fantastic, which is getting a little bit of revenue into the club as well. We are still in a little bit of a tricky situation financially, that we are continuing to lose money, but at the moment, halfway through the season, we are still in the positive in terms of how much money we have in the bank balance. So we're doing better than we have been in the last few seasons at least, and that will continue to improve, I hope. We had a decent chance off of that original effort down the other end of the pitch, and then Doncaster tried to counter-attack on us and didn't quite manage it. So that's kind of good. We managed to stifle that one. But so far in the first half, as you would expect when I bring you back for such a random game in the middle of a season as a one-off, it's not going fantastically well, because nobody's really challenging the goalkeepers too much. We've had 3 attempts at goal and only 1 on target the entire first half, and they've only had 1 and 1. And the XG ratings are fairly rubbish. We've had enough of the possession and a decent passing completion percentage, but other than that, there's not a great deal to get excited about at this point. So we're going to pump the fists, and we're going to say we're favourites here to go out there and put on a performance to cheer for. And as soon as we go out, we're going to go into the shouts and fire them up and see if we can just get them on the front foot. We're going to change from balanced to positive. That's the other change about the structure of play that I did make. I took us into a more balanced approach rather than being too attacking too early in games in this particular league, and it's worked out pretty well for us so far. But today, absolutely nothing is happening. Come on. Come on, Truro. Let's see if we can do this in the last 20 minutes. We're going to pause the game, go and make a couple of personnel changes, probably up into the attacking mentality. We're going to do that before I forget and see where the issue lies for today. And, of course, it's always the way. As soon as you build up your two strikers, both of them have a really awful game in the same day. Oh dear, that's a shame, isn't it? So we're going to take Mellon off and bring Mcjanet on, the old partnership of Mcjanet and Hull from last season, see if that can help us move forward. Wright Phillips not having a great day, so Knowles comes on for him. And then we're going to make one more change, and I think we're going to take off Walker, who's only come into the team recently because he was complaining of not getting too much game time. And there you can see why. We're going to take him out, and we're actually going to bring Bucock in and play him in the holding role, the sort of slightly more defensive role, and put Williams back into that more advanced role. He plays both quite well, Williams. He's a decent player to have around. So those are the changes we're going to make. Back in for the last 15-20 minutes of the game. We have moved into attacking. We're now going to go into the shouts and demand more from them. And Knowles gets the cross in and Hull gets the header in. And we do go 1-up after 74 minutes of the match. A really good sweeping move down this right-hand side off the throw-in from Fink. Knowles takes over and gets the ball out from his feet, opens up the pace, and then puts a good cross to the back post. Hull drops off of his near post defensive marker, drops to the back post, gets some space, and then heads it into the back of the net for 1-0. And it's Doncaster with a good long goal kick, but Williams wins it for us, and D'Souza picks it up down the left-hand side, drifts past the defender, gets all the way to the side of the box and puts it in for Mcjanet to sweep in with another really great header, glancing header this time, to put it into the corner that goalkeeper wasn't expecting particularly. And a really good run again from the wide play. This is the wing play that we've been using, and it's D'Souza this time down the left-hand side, puts a great ball in, near post header from Mcjanet, cuts across the defender, takes the goalkeeper out, and as long as there's no offside here, and there isn't, we go 2-0 up with 10 minutes to play, and this is feeling a little bit better than it did after that really dreary first half, isn't it? And again, Doncaster kick off, but we win the ball in midfield, and it's dropped back to Williams, who approaches the top of the penalty box, and then we have a really great attempt, I think, that hit the woodwork by, I think it was Mcjanet possibly. That looks like it might just about be it, but we've put the pressure on in this second half. Many more shots at goal, much better performance, and eventually we do come away with a fantastic 2-0 win. XG rating of 1.78, so we exceeded that, just about won the possession, did a very good job in keeping the passes completed, so 84% is good. I really like that. And in the end, 13 shots at goal, 7 on target, all led us to winning this pretty comfortably in the end, and that should keep us marching on in terms of our league position. Let's go and check that out. So yeah, just before we go and check out the schedule and see what's coming up in the near future for Truro as we move into the second half of the season, it's just worth having a look. We still sit in 9th, 3 points behind Walsall ahead of us, but we've got a little bit of a 3-point gap to 3 teams that are chasing us down. Sheffield Wednesday, Sunderland, who we've talked about, and Oldham, all very difficult sides to fend off, I would suggest, but we're going to give it as good a go as we possibly can. Today ended up being a really decent result in the end. Took us a while to get going, but it leaves us in 9th position, and that is fantastic. So back into the schedule, let's have a look and see what we've got coming up in the next few matches. We've got January, the transfer window of course opens up. I don't really imagine doing much in the January transfer window unless any of my players get sold from under me maybe, but there's some good games in there. Portsmouth are in there, Wigan are in there. Tricky games in League One this season. And then February is going to be even harder again, isn't it? Because we have Sunderland and Ipswich there potentially. So there's some big games still to come. But you and I are going to reconvene at the very end of the season for the Lincoln match on the last day of the season. I will play through this second half and I will update you as to exactly what's going on between now and then when we meet up again. And we will get through another season in this Truro City from Hope to Glory series. Hopefully comfortably in mid-table will suit me absolutely fine, because we've got a lot of work to do with this particular squad to properly make it challenge for this sort of league and trying to get promoted, I would suggest. But for now, I'm ecstatically happy with how it's all going, and Truro City keep marching on. And that's going to do it for this particular roundup episode. As I say, join me for next episode and you'll get the second half of season 7 and see where we figure out in the end. But until then, thank you for joining me today for this update. I know it's different than what we potentially had in mind, but a bit of a shift in what I'm doing on the channel meant that this was the best way to move this forward, I felt. So I hope you'll agree in the long run. But yeah, thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click that like button on this particular episode and help me get seen by lots more other people and help me continue to grow the channel. Until next time though, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.